You know that there is actually a dog lady?
A dog lady.
A dog lady.
I didn't even know this. So let's get ready to get going. You ready, Chef?
I sure am.
All right, here we go, everybody.
Welcome to the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast, where we explore the unexplained and mysterious phenomena that have occurred throughout the state of Michigan and beyond.
From UFO sightings to ghostly encounters, we delve deep into the stories, the evidence, and the theories behind these strange events.
We are your hosts. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Wayne.
We are an educator duo that after an encounter with a triangular UFO in 2018 in Michigan, we decided to investigate UFOs and the paranormal. In this podcast, we will be speaking with eyewitnesses, experts, and researchers to uncover the truth about some of the most intriguing cases of paranormal activity in and around Michigan.
Our goal is not to convince anyone of the existence of these phenomena, but rather to provide a platform for discussion and exploration. So, buckle up and join us on this journey down the paranormal rabbit hole.
On an escalator. Just not straight.
There we go.
Hey.
There we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. So it is, as Michelle said earlier in our pre-intro, episode 135. That means it's really episode 9. Dun, dun, dun. But anyways, how's everybody doing out there? Good to see you all. Happy to have you on board. It is Sunday, the 27th of July, 2025, and we are hiding out in our air-conditioned, somewhat secret bunker.
Yeah, it's a little humid again today.
As the Michigan weather decides to kick everybody's butt yet again. So we are within the shadow of the great Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. And in just a few minutes, we're going to dive into some current news and some Michigan legends and lore for you. But first, Michelle.
Don't forget, everyone, if you have a story that you would like to tell us, or if you would like to contact the show, you can do so at mi.ufo.podcast@gmail.com.
Also, if you'd like to support the podcast, you can do so with PayPal, Super Chats, buy us a coffee, check out our merchandise store, or join the Patreon. All of those links can be found below in the show description right down there. And if you decide to become a YouTube member or a Patreon member, you will get a shout out during the intro and be listed in the credits at the end of the show as a thank you for your support, which we got to get updated here soon. So
I think we've got some recording to do tomorrow, dear.
Yes, we do.
Now that we're back and it's the end of July, and every teacher's dread during the summer is when August 1st hits, because it's the reality in Michigan that we are not so far away from just
don't say it.
I've been hanging out in school supply aisles. I am so sorry. I feel like this is confessional.
Stop.
I've already started buying stuff.
Hey, look, I was talking to a guy about retirement, so come on. That's where my mind is.
I still got a few more years, as long as I'm happy doing what I'm doing. So don't forget to smash that like button. We're not talking about just click the like button. We're like, smash it, share us out.
Yes.
Subscribe to the channel.
There's something going on. Where is everybody? We need more people. Where is everybody?
Yeah, they'll show up. It's a Sunday.
It is a Sunday. It's always a Sunday for us. But anyways, as Michelle said, make sure you share us out and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And remember, you can find this show on audio podcast hosts everywhere. Look us up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, among others. Get over there and follow the audio version of the show and leave us a review. It helps us grow. All right. Michelle.
Let's talk about our most recent event and time with our friend Ray.
Yes, Ray Szymanski did a presentation the other night. It was Friday night at 5:30 Eastern time at the Bacon Memorial Library in Wyandotte. So, and
This
by
is
the
a
way,
really pretty library too.
very nice
The building
library.
is gorgeous.
Yeah, really well done. Want to do a quick shout out to some people that we met there, specifically Lana and
Her son Ronan.
your son Ronan.
So I have never seen such a little guy get so hyped up and actually admit to a crowd that he had already had some pre-existing knowledge of swamp gas.
Yeah.
So he's done some homework.
So it was a great presentation. Another thing that happened was really weird at the end of the presentation that Ray gave was a woman coming up to us and talking about her medical symptoms and experience that she had up near around Grayling, Michigan. But it was in 1978. And Michelle, what did you say about?
So, we were talking to her and she was talking about 3 months later after she had had an experience in a sighting that she began losing an immense amount of weight. She started losing her hair. The doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. Now, again, 70s medicine. And I just looked at her and I said, did they test your thyroid? And she said, they didn't do any of those tests back then. I told her, I said, your health concerns and what ended up happening are the same exact things that happened to Wayne.
Yes.
That could be from an exposure to radiation
or whatever the propulsion
or
system
whatever.
Yeah.
So
it was a very interesting night. It was a fun night, very informational, and Ray always puts on a great show. So all right.
he's a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
So
and then you get the inside scoop on a lot of stuff too.
Well, there's that, and being able to hang out with him a little bit afterwards. By the way, for our friends in Wyandotte, we finally got to enjoy Major Biddles, and that was from a recommendation from the librarian at Bacon Memorial, and we will definitely be back. That place was phenomenal, wait staff and phenomenal food. I know I'm doing plugs for restaurants now. I feel like my Kate and Nate on TikTok with their travel videos. I need to show you guys food now. But there are some conferences coming up next year that Ray is directly involved with, and one that is still in the works. He hasn't gotten anything confirmed yet.
Oops. So
there is on May 2nd, the Kilgore Scottish Center on 2363 Rochester Road in Troy, Michigan.
Yep.
So, and you can see that the email is there. We'll also have it in the show notes. We've got Ray as one of the speakers, and then also two that are still to be determined. And the point of contact is William Konkoleski. If you have any questions about that or know someone who really should speak at that conference.
Correct.
He also has coming up March.
Let me switch over to that one.
Yep. March 20th and 21st of 2026. Can't register for it yet. Trust me, I tried because I don't follow directions sometimes. But after January 1st, you should be able to register for one of the 2 nights of his presentation of Swamp Gas My Ass, a special presentation celebrating the 60th anniversary of the 1966 Dexter Hillsdale UFO incident. So
there it is.
Again, registration is required. It is free. It is limited to 250 seats for the event.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
So it is a Friday and a Saturday. I know that Friday is going to be more the focus on Dexter, and Saturday he did say it was going to be still the focus on Dexter, but also more of a push of the information about the Hillsdale College as well.
Yes. Now, one thing to point out that might get missed is where it says only register for one event. Duplicates will be deleted. So make sure that you register for both, or one or the other, not both. Okay. So I guess last year when they did this, they had over 300 people show up, and they had to be, sent away.
Yeah, sent away, standing room.
Yeah.
It seems that it got a little bit clustered. So trying to avoid that by having it for 2 nights. And then again, you can only register for
Just register for
one of those 2 nights.
And again, that's going to be really, really cool. It's going to be the 60th anniversary. March 20th is the exact date that they're, calling the 60th anniversary. March 21st is the 60th year plus 1 day. So, hey, Nathan, how's it going? Good seeing you there.
And Mama Dorothy's joined us. Hey. So is Mark.
Good seeing you guys.
Joe and Lance and Heights and Long Grass are still with us.
Welcome, everybody.
Eris is still hanging out there. So, before we get on to the next one, there is something that I told Wayne today that I wished that in the month of July that Michigan could be recognized for more positive things. And unfortunately, in the news, when we were on our trip, actually that was the end of June. When we were on our trip, there was the church incident in the city of Wayne, which is my hometown. And then we had the craziness going on up in Traverse City, which is where Wayne's father lives. So I know that, his wife has already put out that they were marked safe. They weren't at that Walmart store, but I can't believe all that's coming out about that. They've, if you're interested in it, I know it's been on the national news, just like the church incident. Do your homework because they've already released the name. It is absolute craziness. And I wish that was not why Michigan was on the map currently.
Yeah. Once again, we've had some crazy stuff. Michigan is a crazy state. And this guy allegedly went around and stabbed like 11 people at a Walmart.
They're all expected to survive. But I'll tell you that, Derek, that unsung hero who pulled the pistol on him.
Yep. That made him get not crazy really fast.
Totally.
And it's amazing when you have these people that are doing bad things and they have, a bit of courage until they meet somebody who's got the better weapon than they do. So, Second Amendment all the way. That's what it's there for. And he didn't have to use it. He just had to talk the guy down and show him, hey, you stabbed 11 people. What in the world?
Why is it that I have lines from Happy Gilmore when Bob Barker was on it going, the price is wrong?
The price is wrong.
Yeah. Bleep. Just in case Ronan's listening.
Yeah.
So for our listening audience, I know a lot of us are, Gen Xers. Mm-hmm. And I feel that somebody needs to check on us, especially over the course of the last week and I know that there were other celebrity deaths. Connie Francis, I believe. There was another musician. But my top 3, starting with Malcolm Jamal Warner. So, see, I grew up watching The Cosby Show. So that was like I think it was like every Friday night. That it was like an extension of my family watching them.
Yeah.
And then there's Ozzy.
Yep.
Which, when I say that there was a dark cloud over this house,
that was huge.
So, because, without that musical influence, Wayne would have never picked up a guitar. Hence, he would have never been in a band. Hence, he would have never met me back in the day. It just so much. And I mean, that was like a huge musical influence for me back in the 80s and 90s. And then how I kind of directed my, musical listening selections from then on. I
mean, come on, everybody knows Crazy Train and, Mr. Crowley and all of these songs, almost every song he wrote with whatever band he had,
I still
was
get
iconic.
chills from the guitar riff from No More Tears. That one, I still get my hairs stand up on my arms.
Yeah.
So, and then, and
then
there are some times that I need to just keep my mouth shut.
Yes.
So I was at the chiropractor. This is about our third one. And I'm talking to Ira, and we're talking about, Theo Huxtable. We're talking about Ozzy. And I said, this stuff happens in threes. I said, what's going to come next? And I no sooner walked out of that therapy room that he had his phone right in front of my face with the news about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And I know that it's kind of like a love-hate out in the world about Hulk Hogan, what he may have said, maybe what he didn't say, all concerning his daughter. But I grew up through the 70s and 80s into the 90s watching
WWF,
when it was
baby.
WWF, and then it changed to WWE.
Yeah,
I mean,
WWF was the iconic one, man.
If one girl from my friend from college, Justine, if she ever listens to one of these, she will think back to the times that we knew that the wrestlers were going to be in town, and we would literally, I don't want to say stalk, but we would go have breakfast at the Bob Evans by Metro Airport. And lo and behold, we had met so many wrestlers over time.
Yep.
So, and just for his passing, still 71.
Well,
too young.
Here, this is what I remember is the very first WrestleMania. My mom was working as a waitress and had lots of friends that would come into the restaurant and stuff. And before there was cable, like official cable TV in the Detroit area, there was ON TV. And you could subscribe to it, and it would be on a few hours a night, playing some kind of movie or whatever, watching Stripes for the 300th time and all that stuff. And they were the first ones to broadcast WrestleMania 1. And I remember we ordered that, and we had people from the restaurant in our house. We were all sitting around watching WrestleMania. And that was like the first big, like, gathering of people in a house to watch a pay-per-view event of wrestling. And it was where Hulk Hogan was going to be versus Andre the Giant. And it was all about him trying to body slam Andre the Giant. And, man, it just...
He had two friends back together again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was it? The Ultimate Warrior, Rowdy Piper.
Yeah. Rowdy Piper.
Oh my God. Like I said,
Road Warrior, right?
I've met so many of them. It's like even now with WWE to see Triple H.
Yeah.
As like the head boss man. That one still cracks me up.
Yep.
So even Miss Elizabeth, it's hard.
Oh yeah.
It's like hard to stop and think
Randy Macho Man Savage
about how many of the icons, again, check on your Gen X friends.
Yeah.
Because our icons of when we grew up are slowly starting
they were the younger baby boomers that are dying off.
Absolutely.
And man, they pushed their bodies, man, especially those wrestlers. They really pushed it in the rockers of the time. I mean, look at how many we've lost. Jimi Hendrix, and I mean, the list goes on and on. Michael Jackson,
Prince.
I mean,
Jim Morrison.
Yep.
Janis Joplin. Okay. Yeah, we could go on and on. It's kind of like Michigan folklore. We could go on and on. But
I had to cut it off.
I stopped at about 6 of them today because I'm not kidding you. It was crazy.
Michigan's got quite the history.
How many rabbit holes I was going down.
Yeah.
All right.
So last thing, but not least, is I don't know if this gets into paranormal, though I've seen an interview with a woman who said that she was part of the Epstein crowd and was sex trafficked and all those things, or what was going on. But things are getting really weird. There's no client list, right?
We want to see the list.
Deputy Director of FBI now, Dan Bongino, he is threatening to quit or has quit now. I'm not sure if he did. I don't think he did yet, but then he put out a really weird tweet, in which really makes me think that something really, really strange is going on. And this is what he said. I got this off of his Twitter or his X. During my tenure here as the Deputy Director of the FBI, I have to repeatedly relayed to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening. Okay, well, that's thanks.
So are we going to give some disclosure on something?
Well, something. And then he goes on to say, and this is the creepy part. This is the creepy part. And I don't know where he's going with this, but he says, what I have learned in the course of our properly predicted and necessary investigations, which that's weird, into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run a republic like this. I'll never be what? The same after learning what I've learned. What in the world, dude?
Okay, wait a second. How many pages was that one disclosure document again? Wasn't it like 180?
No,
something?
that's that. You're talking about the first DNI,
yeah, the first
UFO one.
How many pages was that?
I don't think this has to do with UFO.
No, I'm just asking how many pages.
I have no idea. I know there was like something like 135 reports or something that they had looked at.
So I wonder if their disclosure about what everything is going to be a 135-page document that we have to weed through.
Yeah. Well, look at what Dave says. Dave says when the aliens come back, it won't matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I just, I have a feeling this goes deep into those conspiracies, right? Of probably what everything started after World War II. I mean, I think the government's been on this kick of being able to control everybody. They already got everybody controlled by the two parties, right? Everything's two-party controlled. Well, we all know how that goes. And while you're distracted, everything's a distraction, like a magician. Look at my left hand so you don't see what my right hand's doing.
Well, and just like Dorothy said really here, weird. I know something you don't, and I won't tell you.
Well, I don't know, but people seem to get Control Alt Delete it when they start talking sometimes. So I don't know, but
yeah.
Now I know what people are thinking, right? It has something to do with Trump. Trump hated Epstein, and even Biden's people talked about it. Like Trump was the one, his administration was the one that arrested him and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Didn't he kick him out of Key Largo?
Yeah, he kicked him out of his club and said he wanted nothing to do with them. And then, I don't know, but according to Trump, everything's fake. So who knows?
Oh.
I mean, these people in DC and that are involved in this political crap.
Such a dirty little web of politics it is.
But it's a different world. I mean, they live a different reality. I mean, truly, they got all of us paying our tax money to them, right? We work and bust our butts, and they make laws that control what we do. And it's just, man, it's just crazy. I don't know.
I don't know. I am still kind of giggling today over the senator in Michigan that was literally at a restaurant promoting the food and showing his food off, like one of these like travel couples that I watch, because I'm like addicted to different travel.
Hold on. Is he a senator?
Yes, he is.
He's a Michigan senator.
He's
a state Michigan senator.
Yes.
Doing a food blog.
It was like, oh, cool. We'll probably check that restaurant out. But I'm like, why is a senator doing like a food blog?
Dude.
I'm like, this is
all right.
Yeah, way too much time on your hands, dude.
Let's get out of this.
Yes.
Let's just go on and let's Michelle, we wanted to do a show like this for a while, and you were really the spearhead
I
for this.
have been talking about this ever since I had gotten my hands on a book that belongs to my uncle that I need to return to him.
Yep.
That was about the folklore around Monroe County. And a lot of
which is just to the south of us.
Yeah, which literally we're 9 miles away from Monroe County, if that. And it was around the time of the father and son that had stated that they had seen a Bigfoot creature while fishing. And so it was kind of like, well, how much folklore does Michigan actually have?
Wrong question to ask, Michelle.
That was my biggest mistake. So besides going through the book, because different counties have different folklore, different cities have different folklore. Michigan has more than just, your standard Bigfoot, Dogman that we've, talked about before, and its exposure in 1987 during that radio broadcast, even though, Dogman originates from the Odawa tribe and the Native American folklore up north. I wanted to look a little bit more into some more of the cryptids and folklore of Michigan, and I picked 6 for tonight. And so
let's dive into this. Let's get this show on the road.
I first want to give some credit to some of the sites that I started going down. One is mythfolks.com. So mythfolks.com. And great website for no matter where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you just plug in your state, you can get like a laundry list of different things to start exploring and going into. Another one, lo and behold, there's somebody at 99.1 WFMK radio that is a true cryptid fan.
Where's that at? What is WFMK?
It's somewhere in Michigan. Because a lot of these, you can look up 99.1 WFMK, but somebody at that radio station, one is a pretty good writer, and two, out
of East Lansing.
Okay, that makes sense. Thought it was Michigan. Mm-hmm. And then the book Haunted Monroe County, Michigan by Jerry Holland. So that is another one that had a great time looking into. And it all started with what the first name in our show title tonight, Bessie.
Yeah.
So our lake monsters, come on, we're surrounded by lakes.
We're close to lake monsters.
We're close to Lake Erie. We love going to Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. But Bessie and Pressie.
Yes.
So I knew about Lake Bessie. Pressie, I did not know. And I've actually been around this area before and did not know about this creature. So Michigan's Great Lakes are said to harbor mysterious creatures.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Bessie, also known as the Lake Erie monster. Bessie has been described as a snake-like creature about 40 feet long. Sightings date back to 1793, with many reported off the Ohio coast. So since Lake Erie stretches that way, maybe this is why I've been wanting to look at houses on Lake Erie down in Frenchtown in Monroe. I want to get a sight of Bessie myself. Maybe it's a radioactive snake from Fermi that's down
the nuclear power plant. But I think this stuff has been around. Sightings date back to 1793, way before there was nuclear power plants here.
Yeah, these stories have been around since the late 1700s. And then there's Pressie.
All right, now what is Pressie? What is this?
So Pressie is another serpent-like creature that is up in Lake Superior, named after Presqu'île in Lake Superior. Pressie is another serpent-like creature seen near Whitefish Point and Pictured Rocks. Now, I've been to Presqu'île, so in this area, and never knew that there was a story of a cryptid about that area. So one of the most notable sightings was in 1977 when a hiker photographed what appeared to be a large snake-like creature near the Porcupine Mountains.
Yeah, I've been to Porcupine Mountains before.
So that, if you only thought that we had Bessie, we now have Pressie too. So we've got the sisters. Then, who doesn't like a little bit of stories about witchcraft? Or the Ada Witch.
Yeah.
So that
everybody salts everything around them real fast. Let's put up your protections, man.
Salt circle, burn some sage, dragon's blood.
Yeah, this was an interesting one.
So often counted as a ghost story, but borders into humanoid shadow entity sightings.
And this is the Ada Witch, right? Yeah.
So the Ada Witch is a ghostly figure tied to a tale of infidelity and murder in the 1800s. In the Findlay area near Grand Rapids. Boy, Grand Rapids is popular around with some of these stories.
Well, it's a
husband
Lake
discovered
City.
his wife with another man and killed them both in a fit of rage. Over the years, people have reported hearing sounds of a fight, being tapped on the shoulder, and seeing a ghostly woman in white. And that is the Ada Witch. Now, see, for me, that's almost very similar to the Blue Lady of Denton Road. So, there's always that ghostly woman. But this one, the twist was the infidelity. So as far as that the husband coming home and catching her. I wonder why she was called a witch, or if that was just his reference to her, or the fact that, her entity would come back to haunt. And so...
Yeah, I don't know. The Ada Witch.
Witchcraft.
Yeah.
Might have to go down some more rabbit holes with the Ada Witch.
All right, this one, I love this one. Go ahead. What is
I don't think that he joined us tonight.
Yeah.
But
Nain
Rouge. Nain Rouge. The Red Dwarf of Detroit. Of Detroit. The Nain Rouge, French for Red Dwarf. And also called Red Imp or Devil of Detroit.
Yep.
Is a goblin-like creature tied to Detroit's history. It was said to have appeared before several key events, including the 1805 fire that destroyed Detroit and the 1967 riots.
Mm-hmm.
Described
you know
as...
what? That sounds almost like a Mothman situation.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Described as a small red-eyed creature with super sharp teeth. Almost sounds like some of those things in the movies back in the 80s. Those really bad B-rated horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like Critters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. The Nain Rouge has inspired an annual tradition called the Marche du Nain Rouge, where locals banish the figure in a parade. They have a parade for this. Wayne, we need to go.
Hey, this is like a big deal.
We need to go.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to see. I think that we need to go, and I think that we need to film it. I'm already looking into Wayne and I traveling to Roswell at some point. I know that they have their festival. This year it was during 4th of July weekend. So I think that's going to be something that we're going to be talking about within the next year or two. I'd like to actually go out there and check that out.
All right. What do we got coming up next? Oh, man. Another one.
All right.
Yeah.
So there were... This is where I started going into looking into a lot of stories about this, because, again, we've got Dogman, but we actually have Dog Lady Island. Anybody listening ever know that we had Dog Lady Island? This is coming out of Monroe, Michigan.
Island.
This is one of our...
Wait a minute. Wait.
Dog Lady Island.
What about Lady of the Lake?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about her.
You know what? Let's do the Dog Lady Island.
I'll do Dog Lady Island, and then I'll go back to Lady of the Lake. I kind of centered some of these stories down around this way. So there will be definitely more to come on the western side of the state. Maybe every now and then with our shows, maybe fit a couple in at the end.
Mhm. You know,
Hmm.
it just
Instead of
dawned
me
on
doing
me.
true crime, because Wayne really wants me to do true crime too.
Yeah.
But I like the cryptid stories. I like the paranormal stories.
What's interesting about living here in Michigan, probably because there was a lot of traffic and a lot of different cultures and stuff that lived here, that settled here, that traveled here. Like you can walk out your door and throw a rock in a certain direction, and where that rock lands, you can find out about some kind of a spooky story or something that is like right around wherever you're at. Like there's a constant supernatural paranormal connection with this state no matter where you go. And there was some that we were looking up that were just Wendigo and all of those.
There's one that comes out of the Trenton area. I started to look into
Exactly.
that one, and I finally just had to cut it off at some point. Because my brain was, and I didn't want to start mixing up the stories together like I just did with the two titles. But I'm going to go over the Dog Lady Island out of Monroe, Michigan, Monroe County.
Hey, Diane.
And chances are, if you were raised around Monroe, you live in Monroe, you may already know this legend. So, maybe it's been just whispers of a plot of land where a disfigured woman and her pack of wild dogs terrorize anyone who dares step foot in their territory. So if none of this rings a bell, I'm going to tell you about the tragic tale of Dog Lady Island. In the middle of Plum Creek, in a spot once referred to as Fox Island, there is an island that has had many lives. In the 1800s, it was home to a women's religious school. Late in the century, it became the private island of the wealthy Cosler family, who tried to turn it into a booming estate. They failed. It didn't turn out that way. So once the Cosler family moved to the city in the 1930s, the island went through a string of owners, all of whom hoped to turn the island into a thriving community, and every single one of them failed to do so. The last remaining couple on the island and their pack of Doberman pinschers were all that was left when 1961 rolled around. It's not clear if he died or left, but according to legend, the old man left his wife alone on the island with just her pack of dogs as company. Those dogs became her only friends, so there's no neighbors there. Until, as legend has it, she became one of them. Okay, this was a new story for me. So, according to local mythology, she eventually could be seen running on all fours, barking and snarling, practically a Doberman herself. This canine fantasy didn't last long because most tales say the dog lady's life came to an abrupt end when she tried to eat before the dominant dog, and the pack gave her a brutal reminder that even dogs respect hierarchy. Some say the dogs ripped out her tongue and blinded her. Others blame a biker gang who'd taken over the island. Either way, the dog lady was left as a mute, haunting specter. So today, supposedly her ghost still stalks the island, scaring off teenagers who brave the trek for a thrill. It's like, hey, let's take a boat over there. Some say the dog lady swipes at windshields after crawling on the roof of your car.
Lovely.
Oh my God. That's like Denton Road for me. Don't drive down there at midnight at 3 a.m. witching hour. You're going to have the lights hit the top of your car. Oh, so the or lovers that park at her territory, again going for those parked cars, whether or not the legends are true. Monroe residents still keep her alive, spinning new versions for every new generation of curious teens. It's like the telephone game. We're going to add something to it.
There you go.
We're going to scare little Johnny even more. So that one I was fascinated with because again, we've heard about Dogman and it's like, wow, there's stories of a Dog Lady Island and
Well, it's just
that's
like
not far from us.
it's just like the Dexter, Dexter Hillsdale Ann Arbor 1966 UFO thing. I've been in this state 55 years and I didn't hear about that till what, 8 years ago maybe? And that was huge. So
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and that's like from our memory, we had completely forgotten about the 1994 stuff that was going on the west side of the state. So I remember seeing a glimpse of it in a newspaper because I actually did read newspapers when I was a kid. My dad would get them, and
I was on the road a lot.
when he was done, I would grab the newspapers from him because we didn't have internet back then.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to travel a little bit further south from Plum Creek in the Monroe area to Luna Pier. And Luna Pier is just a very small, quaint town. Again, still on Lake Erie. And this is a story of the Camp Lady of the Lake. So another one of Michigan's folklore.
Luna Pier.
Luna Pier. So in the early 1900s, in the area which became Camp Lady of the Lake in Monroe County, there was a 15 or 16-year-old girl named Florence who fell in love. She and her beau were very much in love, but then after World War I broke out, he enlisted and was shipped out to fight. He didn't survive. This was too much for Florence to bear. Her mind couldn't cope with the situation, and her depression got the best of her. Her brain deteriorated, making her somewhat feeble-minded. She thought by unaliving herself that she would be reunited with her lost lover. So she ventured into the woods, and it was Control-Alt-Delete. I know I have to use the YouTube window. Sorry, guys. I know it takes away from some of the effects.
You got to censor yourself.
I'm censoring myself. So some people to this day believe that Florence's ghost haunts the woods, roaming around and standing by the lake shore looking for her love. Some say that they have even seen her and have dubbed her the Lady of the Lake. So such a sad story to that. And there's a lot of those. Every time I hear this, I've heard this story before, and for me, it's like so similar to some of the artwork of in pictures for Edgar Allan Poe in Virginia. I mean, it does. It's just that sad love story.
Yeah, there's a lot of these. There's even like ancient bardic songs and stuff that talk about this, like Made in Bedlam is a very famous song that's been redone from hundreds of years ago, where women would get locked up in mental institutions for having hysterical attacks because their husband died out at sea or went to a war somewhere and got killed. So, all right. I think we're down to our last.
Oh, yeah, this is the last one, and this is the one that probably took me down the most rabbit holes, and it is the Demon Tree of Almont. And what I found is there are a lot of states in the U.S. with either demon trees, devil trees. So there may be more stories in Michigan like this one. So the Demon Tree of Almont, and Wayne, look up where Almont, Michigan is.
Okay, gotcha.
I know I've heard of this town.
Oh yeah.
I've probably driven through it. Like, what is it by?
Oh my God. Of course, AI wants to get involved just because you're searching something. Let's see.
The meta.
Well, this would be Google's. The Googles.
Well, while Wayne is looking that up. So the Demon Tree of Almont is near an old church and a Freemason cemetery. A gnarled tree has earned this nickname of the Demon Tree. Local legends claim the tree is cursed, with reports of shadowy figures, strange sounds, and a nearby cemetery featuring gravestones inscribed in Latin from the 1700s, adding to the creepy atmosphere. And not just in Latin, but also symbol markings like the eye,
Well,
the
just real
all-knowing
quick,
eye.
it is Alma is about, I'm going to estimate about 15 miles west, maybe more like 20 miles west of Sarnia.
Okay.
Yep, just south of 69, the expressway 69 that runs east-west in Michigan. So it's just below the thumb area.
So it's actually not too far from, not horribly far from us. It's not, wouldn't be like
No,
driving
west
to,
of, almost directly west of Memphis, Michigan,
okay.
northwest of Armada.
Oh, we know where Armada is.
Mhm.
There you go. So
Or
it's
directly north of Romeo, Michigan.
Yep. So this is not actually, Wayne, you do realize that we're going to be up in that area.
Yep.
Next month.
Yep.
We're going
We're going to go find it.
We're going to go up to Fairgrove, Michigan. I think that we're going to go to Almont too and find this place.
Yeah, easy.
So maybe we'll be back on after the experience. Maybe we will. I'm joking. We'll be back on. So it is a quiet town in Lapeer County. So I could have pulled that and helped you out with that. So it's in Lapeer County. The tree stands alone. There's no other trees around it. By itself. At least reportedly it's by itself. The ground around is barren. They believe that it got its name either from a dark ritual that took place during the 1700s, and that it is either something tied to the Freemasons or even something even older than the Freemasons. There is the myth that a man unalived himself with a rope by grief after losing his family from one of the branches, and his tormented spirit cursed the oak tree, and that is the reason for the spirits and the sounds. There is the myth that a witch was unalived near the tree and blood soaked into the roots. So these,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that one is a good one. I like that spin. Whoever came up with that one. The creatures and the shadowy figures that they talk about are tall, featureless creatures. So what is that, like Slender Man? Slender Man doesn't have a face on him. So like featureless creatures watching you, whispering in a language that you can't understand. So I think one of the stories was, possibly their whispering was in Latin. The markings throughout the cemetery of the all-seeing eye.
Yeah. Like Masonic markings. Yeah.
The possibility that all of the sayings in Latin are keeping something contained.
Oh, like a binding ritual.
Yes.
Maybe that was the ritual that was taking place. They were binding something.
So, and then there have been some experiences in with the Demon Tree in Almont in the 1980s. A group went in armed with flashlights, but they never actually made it to the tree because the flashlights started flickering, even though they had fresh batteries in them. They could hear footsteps, even though when they turned around, there was absolutely nobody there. One of the kids had claimed to see a shadowy figure by the tree as they were leaving, and they never returned. In 2015, and I have a friend across the state that actually does EVP work. So there was a paranormal investigator that had went up there to look for EVPs and try to record them. And one of the recordings that he had picked up was in Latin that translated to "I am here." And that's what his device had picked up. he had said that the temperature dropped about 10 degrees when he was by this tree, that his equipment began to malfunction and ended up erasing at least half of the content that had been recorded. At least half. So, and unfortunately, the stories of people who have allegedly messed with this tree have ended in having accidents, illnesses, or some sort of just like dark cloud of dread following them. So hopefully, I know I want to check this place out. I don't know how close I'm going to get to the tree.
Yeah.
And since Wayne and I are going to be in that area,
we'll swing by and see if we can
I was
find
going to
it.
say, if anybody's in the Almont area, say on the 8th of August.
Yep.
I think coming back down.
All right. So that kind of wraps up the 6 that we wanted to cover.
Wayne, we talked for an hour by ourselves without a guest. I mean, in chat, what are some of the cryptids? What are some of the folklore stories? Especially if you're in Michigan, that you would like to see me go down some more rabbit holes, because I kind of got a list for a future show. Every now and then, Wayne, I think this is a good idea. When we don't have a special friend to come on and talk with us, I think that we need to just jump into more of this folklore. So, see, right there.
Here's what Diane says. There is a lady of the lake over here by Lake Crescent. They called her the Soap Lady. She drowned in one lake and ended up in Lake Crescent. Can't remember the story, though.
And that's what I noticed when I was doing some digging, is that different counties, different states, like very, very similar folklore, and even titles, or like name titles.
Yeah. Well, regions have their own, their own stories.
Oh, yeah. Dorothy, what was that?
Well, while you're
giving you a website that I found that was quite entertaining, that you could look up all sorts of folklore and cryptids and supernatural across the US.
Yep. Yeah, very interesting site.
So, and like I said, we've got more for Michigan. And everyone who doesn't live in Michigan, you're going to learn all about Michigan folklore over time. Over time. My brain can only take a few at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, those 6 barely scratched the surface.
Oh yeah. There's a ton. There's even Bigfoot here in Michigan. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say just Michigan Dogman and things like that, but there's sightings of Bigfoot. And,
look at the most recent one with the father and son down in Monroe.
Down in Monroe.
Guys, we got water and we got train tracks. There you go. There's like the recipe.
Well, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about related to UFOs that happened while we were gone as well. And we didn't have a chance to talk about it or have somebody on to talk about it. And that was the whole Ross Coulthart, the Tic Tac UFO, right? And, and saying it's Lockheed Martin and all that stuff. And there's a Professor Simon Holland that does his show. Very, very cool guy out there. And he had on somebody named Bertrand. His last name was Bertrand. I think it was Joshua Bertrand, and he is a technology investigator. And he was talking about that he thought that he knew what the Tic Tac UFO was, and that it was definitely our technology. And he came to the table talking about aerogels, and it's these materials that are created. Just so you guys know, it's a class of synthetic porous ultralight material derived from a gel in which the liquid component, and I'm reading this directly off of Wikipedia so you guys know what this is, but the gel has been replaced with a gas. So it's super fine. It's a super fine material. It's very brittle without significant collapse of the gel structure. So basically what happens is that the gel gets replaced with gas, right? So it's a solid with an extremely low density, which means there's not much to it. And I think even my favorite guy in the world, who is the guy I can't stand besides come on, Michelle, help me out. Tyson, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He had some of this stuff, and it's very fine, right? I mean, there's no way you can create a 40-foot long Tic Tac. And what they're saying is that these things are called an aerostat, and it's like replacing the lighter than air dirigibles. And so we're running out of helium on the planet, so they can't use gas that much anymore. So they want to still create, so the military and scientists and stuff want to create these lighter than air vehicles. And this material has been around since like the 30s, like 1931 was when it was first created, and it was never put to practical use. But so this gentleman was saying that these aerogels can be used to create these aerostats, these long lasting floating kind of self-directed craft that are lighter than air. And the reason that they're lighter than air is because they're vacuum sealed on the inside. Now here's a big problem with that. If you vacuum seal, if you suck all the air out of a container, the atmosphere crushes it. So, and this material will not be able to withstand that. So, and another thing too is that before the Nimitz, the Tic Tac encounter in 2020 or in 2004, I think was the original Nimitz encounter, these things were not being created or tested. And one thing that I can say from an Air Force guy that Michelle and I both know, who is retired from the Air Force as a senior engineer, Ray Szymanski, was saying that without a doubt, there is no way that the government, any of these people, Lockheed Martin or anything, would risk pilots, the craft. I mean, you got to understand, an Air Force pilot or a Navy pilot is worth millions upon millions of dollars to the government. They sink so much training and knowledge and secrets into these guys that they don't want to lose them. And the last thing they're going to do is test some kind of a test craft against our own people. They do all that stuff, Area 51, S4, Nevada test range, all of those things. That stuff happens outside and away from testing areas where there might be aircraft and things like that. So while I think that there is scientific or there is material out there, our material engineering is really, really good. And it's getting better every time, as the years go on. But at that time of 2004, during the Nimitz incident with the Tic Tac UFO and what Fravor says, it seemed like that these two, Professor Holland and Mr. what was his name, Bertrand or something like that, were really tiptoeing around about it couldn't really be this, but it might have been this kind of a thing, even though 2019 was the first test of these type of aerostat materials. So just officially, I'm not buying it. I'm not saying it was aliens or UFOs or whatever, but it definitely wasn't, our material science wasn't there just yet. And you guys can all go look this up. Look it up on Wikipedia. Look up aerogel, AEROJ or GEL, and look up aerostats, AEROSTAT. Look those up. And you'll see that these are just lighter than air. And yes, a craft with nothing in it instead of a gas that's lighter than the gas around it, like helium. What's lighter than that? Nothing. You just remove the gas. But then you have to withstand the power of the atmosphere pushing on that craft. That means that it has to be a rigid craft and it has to withstand that. So, yep, that's right, Dorothy. So look those things up, dig into it a little bit more. I don't think that it was Lockheed Martin at all. Once again, I think they're using material science and engineering in a way of covering up something that happened. And just like sometimes they'll use, even Ray was talking about this. Remember, Michelle, he was talking about how the government would say something that they were testing was a UFO, right?
Mhm.
Because people were seeing the top secret craft that were flying, and they would say, oh my God, there is a UFO. And then they send out their disinformation people out there to help, grow that idea that it was a UFO when it was really one of our craft. So they use it. Intelligence and counterintelligence uses this on both sides to cover up what they're doing and to cover up what people are seeing that they have nothing to do with.
Just throw it out and see what sticks.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So
it's like if we talk about it enough, maybe it'll confuse.
Yeah, and I think
majority of the public.
And that's the ultimate goal when it comes to the government and Arrow and Project Blue Book, Blue Beam, all of these things. Yeah, Dorothy says it. Lockheed Martin, a cover story. I agree. I think that's exactly what it is. Yeah. And it wasn't a Lockheed Martin craft. I don't believe that. Now, I'm willing to change my stance on it, but no, even Fravor says no. So,
yeah, there have to be a whole heck of a lot of proof.
Yeah. So, but I think the main thing is to confuse, right? The government's interested. UFOs are real. DNI put out a report, and then they turn around the next year and say, oh, most of those were weird weather phenomenon and things like that. No, they weren't. So as long as we stay confused and people turn off, and turn away, nobody's going to know. And, yeah, I think that's the deal. And that was one of the other news items I wanted to talk about recently. So I don't know, Michelle, I think we should probably wrap this up and let people watch the replay. What do you think?
I think so.
All right, everybody.
And again, if there are any myths that anyone or any cryptids around the state of Michigan, close to Michigan, even Ohio. So since that's our southern neighbor, please email us at mi.ufo.podcast@gmail.com. Send me down some more rabbit holes.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit more time before I'm back in the classroom teaching 4 different subjects this year.
Yep. We'll research it and we'll report out what we find. And which, it's just an information dive. But let's see, who do we got coming up on the show? Not confirmed yet, but we've reached out to some people, and as soon as I have a confirmation, we should have a cool guest for you guys next weekend. And if things go correctly, let's just say it's going to be a really spaced out kind of time. That's all I'm going to say. All right, Michelle.
That's the only clue.
That's the only clue.
All right.
All
Have
right.
a great night, everyone.
Have a great night, everybody. And
Again, check on your Gen X friends.
yes, check on all of us 1970s and
Stay
older
safe,
people.
stay aware. Whole lot of craziness out in the atmosphere, guys.
Yeah. Things are weird. Stabbings at Walmart and stuff. I mean, come on.
Thank you, Cosmic Joe. I see that we have a subscription.
All right.
Yes, subscribed.
Cosmic Joe. Thank you, Cosmic Joe. And all right, everybody. And as always, you guys know, keep those eyes to that.
Oh, the sky. Absolutely the sky.
To the sky and everybody else around you.
I'm serious.
Yeah.